everyone. We got a bunch of news to get to you today. No surprise there. It's what we do around here at Nintendo Prime. And the first piece of news we're going to talk about actually deals with the Mario movie. And I'm going to be expressing a smidge of frustration with how this story is being reported by certain outlets. But we're still going to get to the truth of it all and get to the actual facts. That's not the only movie we're talking about today. We have some news about the Zelda movie as well. More than that, we have a little bit of a breakdown we're going to glance at of the Square Enix financials. Also, something was said in Capcom's financials that should be of particular interest to Switch 2 owners that I think we should be paying attention to. Also, another, Kadokawa, whatever, however you pronounce their name, they did their financials as well and had words about two major games coming to Switch 2, so we got to talk about that. We have updated sales from Japan last week, which... holy, Tamagotchi Life and Switch 2. Damn, did they do some numbers last week. And then we have a smidge of an update on the new Yoshi game that comes out next week. And hey, you know what? NSO has been updated, so that's always exciting to talk about as well. Before we dive in, I just want to remind you, we are giving away a Switch 2. The only requirement to actually enter is to be subscribed to the channel, because it's a giveaway for our subscribers. But we have a link down in the pinned comment or the description, additional ways to enter, all that stuff. All right, let's go ahead now and get into what we have going on. For today. So first up, I'm going to start with the Mario movie. So it's going to be getting its digital and physical release fairly soon. But IGN is where I first saw this story, and I'm glad that I do research, and I don't usually like to call out when outlets mess up, but because IGN is like such a behemoth, I find the mistakes that they make on reports like this to be inexcusable. You guys are industry leaders and should do better. It is what it is, but mistakes in reporting do happen, and this one says, a new Super Mario movie, digital download available next week. Here's all the special features. That all seems fine until you read the article. After 7 weeks in theaters, Nintendo's Super Mario Galaxy movie will become available to own at home next week via digital download, DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K Ultra HD. You'll be able to buy the Galaxy movie from retailers beginning on May 19th. That information is incorrect. And it's funny because IGN owns Nintendo Life. Nintendo Life got the report correct. Of course, Nintendo Life just literally threw in the entire email from Nintendo. But you can see here that, the movie will be available on digital storefronts. Universal has announced the blockbuster animated sequel can be available on video on demand on May 19th. Not only that, the Nintendo and Illumination sequel, which will arrive in cinemas on the 1st April in most territories, will be available to purchase in 4K Ultra HD and Blu-ray on the 16th of June. Notice, the physical and digital are not coming out at the same time, but IGN told you that they are. So let's go to the actual source. So IGN and the website they own have conflicting reports. So Universal, this is literally the Universal website. And here's what this says. The intergalactic movie adventure of the year continues as fans can now enjoy Super Mario's epic journey from home. Straight from theaters, Nintendo and Illumination's animated global box office sensation, the Super Mario Galaxy movie, will debut exclusively on digital platforms to watch with no ads or subscription required. So basically, you can buy the movie through digital platforms on May 19, 2026. And 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray June 16th. I don't honestly know how they can get this confused. They very clearly put a line in the sand that digital is May 19th, physical is June 16th, and IGN still messed up the report. Either way, guys, that's the news. So if you guys are looking to buy it digitally or physically, that is, when you can do so. All right, next up, we have an update on another movie, this one being the Zelda movie, and it comes from Miyamoto. So it says, this is Miyamoto off the official Nintendo account in Japan. I would like to let you know that the worldwide theatrical release date for the live-action film of The Legend of Zelda has been moved up to April 30th from May 7th. The team is working hard to deliver the film everyone as soon as possible. There's less than a year to go till release, so thank you for waiting. So you see, Discord there, seeing Thank You Miyamoto, seeing friend of the channel, Paul Gale. Look, guys, this obviously is good news. Look, it's just a week. It's not like it makes a big difference. And I don't think it's because suddenly the production and the all that stuff is going quicker than they expected. A lot of times movie release dates move around a week or 2 weeks, sometimes a month, because they're just trying to find the right slot for the movie. And while we don't know release dates for all the movies in 2027, obviously at this point, because we're not even halfway through 2026, it's still one of those things where Sony might have a good idea of what movies are releasing when and think, hey, that weekend might be a little too packed. It might get overwhelmed by some other big movie. We have a different week, we think, or a different weekend anyways. We think we'll do better for the debut. That's usually how these decisions are made. It's just trying to find the right timing to drop. Not, when there's a week difference, it's not because suddenly production's going a week faster. That's not really how it works in the movie industry. Anyway, so yeah, thank you, Miyamoto, for that update. I really appreciate that. Now we're going to get into some financial updates from Square Enix and Capcom. We're going to combine them into one section. So Pierre485 has some of the best breakdowns on the internet of the financials. And I honestly don't care about a vast majority of the financials, be it from Nintendo or Square Enix, any of that kind of stuff. I'm more into, obviously, what they might say during their financials about their plans, and you can see, operating profits, merchandising's profitable, digital entertainment, net sales increased 16%, operating profits rose significantly. So things are going well for Square Enix. And the only reason I wanted to bring up Square Enix and their financials doing well is because Square Enix made a change a little over a year ago where they were going to bring everything multi-platform. And this includes, obviously, on Nintendo Switch 2. And since they did that and stopped making things like exclusively for PlayStation or exclusively for Nintendo or whatever, since they started doing that, their margins are better. So their plan seems to be working on improving their overall profitability as a company. So that's really cool. Next up, though, we got to talk about Capcom. Capcom's also been a really big supporter of Nintendo, and they dropped their financial report, which you have here. But there's really just a sentence or two I want to read from this report to you guys. So as we scroll down, I think I already have it pre-highlighted. You just got to keep it going. And here it is. So this is about digital content business. It says, moreover, the company accelerated expansion of its user base by actively pursuing its multi-platform strategy, which included porting its catalog titles to the Switch 2. Now, I bring this up because I've seen people say, misquote this. This is why we're not reliant on like an account or anything, because when I try to fact check all this stuff, and the quotes I was seeing out there were incorrect. They were not saying that it was especially due to bringing games to Switch 2. That is the quote that has been going around. They just said, including bringing games to Switch 2. So what they're saying is they are seeing success in bringing their games to Switch 2, but it's not the way the misquote is making it feel like it's an accelerated thing due to Switch 2. No. Switch 2 is merely doing okay for them and maybe profitable. I hope profitable, but it's definitely not accelerated due to Switch 2. So I just wanted to throw that out there as like there's some misquotes going around. And now we can get into some fun news. So this one we're separating from the other two because this deals with games already announced for Switch 2. This comes from Kadokawa, and we're actually going to be dealing with Stealth here. I did double check the financial report on this one. It does line up, but it says here, Kadokawa reconfirmed in their latest financial report that the Dustbloods and Elden Ring Tarnished Edition are releasing worldwide in 2026 on Switch 2. Now, it's not that we didn't know this. They're already slated. It's just a reconfirmation that no, Dustbloods has not been delayed out of this year. No, Elden Ring is not delayed out of this year like it was last year. So, so they're just reconfirming those games are still coming. That's why I said I want to separate it out, because it's a slightly different kind of news coming out of the financial reports. All right, next up, we got sales data. This is always fun because Nintendo is just, they dominate Japan. So last week was Golden Week. So if you don't know what Golden Week is, it's basically a week in Japan that has like 3 or 4 holidays packed in. I'm not going to pretend to be a Japanese expert. I'm not Japanese. I've never been to Japan. I don't live there. But Golden Week is a time when a bunch of different holidays happen. And so it's kind of like a holiday shopping week as well for Japan. Kind of like our Black Friday into Cyber Week, right? How that like 10 to 14 day period where there's a bunch of sales and US consumers are buying a bunch of stuff. That's basically what Golden Week is like in Japan for them. And so obviously sales of Switch 2 are going to be quite high. So you see here on Universal Nintendo sales in Japan, Tamagotchi Life Living the Dream remains the leader. So we can go down here and see Tamagotchi Life Living the Dream moved nearly 300,000 units, over 1 million, passing Pokopia already in terms of physical games. Obviously, we know Pokopia had a lot of digital sales, and we don't know the digital sales split with Tamagotchi Life. We know with Pokopia, it's actually about 50%, at least it wasn't launch. We don't know, obviously, with Tamagotchi Life, what the digital and physical split is because we haven't had a full financial report. Talking about Tamagotchi Life, the latest financial report just mentioned the total sales. It didn't really break anything down because Tamagotchi Life didn't release last fiscal quarter. It released this current fiscal quarter. That being said, that is a lot of sales, man. 300,000, and it's not launch week. That is wow. That's a really strong hold from launch week. And you can see Pokemon Pokopia still doing strong. Mario Kart World still doing its thing. Momotaro, Pragmata for PS5 up there. Minecraft, Super Mario. So you see it's a bunch of Switch 1 and Switch 2 games and one PS5 game. But the hardware sales were also just really impressive. So Nintendo Switch 2 apparently moved 214,438 units, getting its 2026 total up to almost 1.6 million. Lifetime total about 1 week away from hitting 5.4 million units, which is insane. Think about that. That's already like half the amount of Switch OLEDs that have sold in total in that country. And Switch OLED's been there since 2021. And they've almost outsold the dang Switch Lite. That'll probably happen later this year. And then obviously the base Nintendo Switch, well, it takes some time to pass that one at 20 million. But yeah, you can see the numbers are all doing really well. Even PlayStation 5 had a bit of a bump, but nothing crazy. Really, the Switch 2 is that impressive, insanely impressive bump. Like, it's just the system that keeps on giving right now. I mean, Japan's loving it. Obviously, we know the price hike is coming, but the price hike announcement was at the very end of Golden Week, so it probably didn't impact sales that much. We have seen some reports out there that the system is sold out in Japan right now this week, probably from the strong Golden Week, and then obviously it's going up in price in 2 weeks, and so people are rushing out to buy it, and they don't have enough units. So we'll see if Nintendo decides to deliver on those units and get that increased sales, or if Nintendo is holding back for the price increase because the losses are too big. I don't know. I'm not Nintendo. I don't know what they're planning to do. We'll find out when we get sales data next week. Next up here, we got to talk about Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. Comes out next week, just to remind everyone. And we learned a new detail about the game today. I'm going to go over to Necro Felipe here, who got it from the Pokemaniac. But it says, we know that Yoshi and the Mysterious Book uses Unreal Engine. No surprise, because the prior Yoshi game used it. But we now know that it's Unreal Engine 5. The discovery was made thanks to the licensing attributed to the Side FX Labs, stylized post-process, and Kawaii Physics plugins, exclusive to that version in the game's preload. So, because you can preload the game now, you data mine it. As you data mine it, this is how you find out all this stuff. So, in the end, UE5. Cool. I don't know what else to tell. Like, it's not the only Unreal Engine 5 game on the platform. Fortnite was the first one because it had an update day one. So, yeah, like, Unreal Engine 5 works on Switch 2. I don't know, like, why people act surprised sometimes. And I'm not saying Necro Felipe is, but people do act surprised sometimes when you mention, like, a modern game engine works on Switch 2. What? I don't really know when we're going to get to the point that doesn't feel abnormal to people, but what are you going to do? Next up, this is a cool update. It's for NSO, but I don't know about you guys. A lot of people out there have been asking for the next GameCube game on NSO, and they gave us 5 games. Just none of them are for GameCube. These are all 5 classic Virtual Boy titles. They almost have the entire Virtual Boy library there, which is 23 games if you count the bonus game that never released. Anyways, you see V Tetris, Jack Bros, Space Invaders, Virtual Collection, Virtual Bowling, and Virtual Force. No, we don't technically have the entire Virtual Boy collection yet, but we're very, very close to having the complete collection. And I think what's frustrating people is that GameCube came out before Virtual Boy, while Virtual Boy is being updated more than GameCube is. This is setting aside the fact that some people get frustrated that you have to use an accessory, and Nintendo didn't make the accessory optional, when we've already seen through emulation that you absolutely can play these games just fine without the headset. In fact, Nintendo showed off the games in directs without a headset. So it is weird. That's the update I really would like to see, is them not require the headset to use Virtual Boy. But that's it. That's our stories for today, at least for now. Obviously, you know, this video is releasing fairly early in the day. We might do a second video later if news is getting crazy. But otherwise, guys, I want to thank you so much for being here. I am Nathaniel Roblejans from Nintendo Prime, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.